Brilliance Audio presents Arden by Melody Ann, performed by Kristen Watson-Heinz. Keera Thompson stopped mid-stride when she turned the corner and saw her office door ajar. School had been out for hours, and this was the one room in the building the janitorial staff didn't go into unless she was right there with them. The confidentiality of her students mattered to her, and too many times private information got leaked because principals and/or teachers were lax in who was allowed near important documents. Though she tried to tell herself she must have left the door open when she'd gone for a stroll to the soda machine, a sense of unease was causing her spine to tingle. Even if she thought she'd only be gone for a couple of minutes, she always shut that door. Sometimes what was supposed to be a quick stroll ended up turning into a long walk to clear her brain. Moving quietly, Keera stepped forward, her ears on high alert as she listened for anything suspicious. There wasn't so much as the sound of a ticking clock, which was eerie in its own sense, but even with no unusual noises, her heart was thudding too hard to ease her sense of dread. Cautiously, she pushed her door open with her booted foot. Blackness greeted her. After a few seconds, she began to realize she was being foolish, so she moved through the doorway and was reaching for the light switch when a cold chill washed through her. Looking up, she noticed a shadow behind her desk, and it was moving. Her pupils dilated as her eyes adjusted to the darkness, and she realized a man was standing there, barely visible in his black clothes. Before she had even a second to process what was happening, the man began moving toward her, which brought him into clearer focus. Not a trace of skin showed. Even his head was obscured by a black mask. Fight or flight kicked in with a vengeance, and she was definitely fleeing. Flight. It was time to get out of Dodge. It was late and she was utterly alone, her janitorial staff currently working in the gym and all of her teachers long gone. Before she was able to flee, the man shot at her like a bullet. Keera didn't even have time to let out a warning cry just in case someone happened along. Moving at lightning speed, the intruder's body slammed into hers, sending her flying sideways, straight into the filing cabinet she'd been so worried about protecting. Her neck jerked to the left, and bright dots flashed before her eyes as her head cracked against the unforgiving metal. Pain ripped through her as she fought not to lose consciousness. Dizziness made it difficult to remain on her feet, but she didn't know where the man was, or if he was coming back for her again. The sound of a door shutting barely registered in her brain, and somewhere inside, she knew that meant she wasn't alone, but it was taking her longer to process things than it should have. But then her office door hit the wall as the man fled her office, and she heard the blessed sound of footsteps fading as he got farther away. She should go after the person, but there wasn't a chance of that. The first step away from the cabinet nearly undid her, the throb in her head so intense it made her nauseous. She gripped the wall as she flicked on the light and squinted around her office. She'd only been gone 10 minutes, so the intruder couldn't have been there long. What in the world was going on? Things like this didn't happen in Edmonds, Washington. She'd taken this job as the school principal less than a month earlier because she wanted out of the city. She'd needed to get away from the fear of coming to work, wondering if this was the day she was going to be attacked. Had she made a mistake coming to this town? No, she wouldn't allow one scary incident to skew her opinion of an otherwise peaceful place where the sidewalks were clean, the merchants friendly, and her students happy and eager to learn. Sure, there were problems. Of course there were. No place was without them. But overall, Edmonds was a haven compared to other places in the world. Shaking her head, Keera looked around her office, but she didn't move. It was officially a crime scene, and she didn't want to erase evidence the criminal might have left behind. Her desk drawers had been opened, the contents spilled across the floor. Her computer monitor was tipped over, and she hoped not broken.